Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity and my saga of the cat box. Yes, I'm back again. Well, first of all, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, and if you watched on Friday, it was about this die. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this die. The problem is my humidity and my glue. Now, if you watched last week, you will see that we managed to make the box section and all of the pieces in the box done with Dollar Tree Jot glue, and they're all flat pieces, which was easy. There is no tension on any of the parts making this little tray box here. My problem was when we got to the hat, and if you remember, I'm picking my pieces up here, we connected them at the base because I figured that would be easier to handle. Now these are newly cut ones because I totally destroyed my other ones. I used Dollar Tree glue on them, and I also used hot glue, and even hot glue was just peeling straight off the product. So then I went in and I used some multi-purpose cement. Now this is almost like super glue, but it's also very stringy, so when you bond two surfaces together, if there's tension on them, it's going to start pulling apart in strings, and that is exactly what happens. So even this stuff, which is virtual super glue, would not work in my humidity, and this one came from Dollar Tree. It's very smelly, you've got to use a fan and ventilation, so I just wouldn't recommend that at all. I mean, any glue really is going to use work on a flat surface, which is what these surfaces were, and that is not a problem. So being flat in humidity is not a problem. It's just anything that is going to be a shape and have tension on it, because you've got to start bending, if you know what I mean, and then you've got to, well, you would tuck these in, and then you've got to hold it into position while it dries, and then when you let go, the whole thing explodes open. Now this new set that I cut, if I look on this side, I used this, get it the right way around, E6000. Now this is a glue that is touted to stick to, let's find it there, you can have a look yourself, there you go, paper, wood, poster board, cardboard, foil, medium to heavyweight fabrics, vinyl, foam, styrofoam, glass, felt, plastic, rubber, leather and metals. Now I did buy this a couple of years ago, and I've had it on my shelf. It's never frozen, and I store it with my other glues, you know, like my silicone and whatnot, which I also tried. They all work when I'm doing flat, but not when tension. And this one was a huge surprise because I loaded it up into one of my needle tip bottles. It's very liquid, and it clearly states that you have to shake vigorously on the bottle. So every time I was squirting some, I did shake it vigorously, and I'd also shaked it vigorously before dispensing it into here. So that means that this stuff that I got in here is properly mixed. So I made sure of that, and as you can see on flat, it worked. Now obviously if you tore it apart, you'd tear it apart, but it did work, and it is a very good strong bond, and I know that that glue works great with glitter. But when it came to gluing this bit, and I did manage to do it, because it's almost an instant grab glue, I couldn't get a neat edge. So if you look at that, you can see it's all a bit wibbly wobbly and gobbledygook, which is no good at all. But after holding it together, it's supposed to take 2 to 3 minutes. I was actually holding this for half an hour, and then it did bond. So I've got a bond, it's just not tidy, and you have to kind of like make that instant bond, otherwise you're going to be even worse than I've got it here. And then I tried it again, and you can see, and the whole thing just popped apart. So from going from a real cheap glue, Dollar Tree, which I can do everything flat with, to silicone glue, and even to the multi-purpose cement, which is all perfect for doing flat. And then to this one, which is quite expensive. I think this is like $8 or $9 or something. You do get a lot in there, and it is a spray, but it's really annoying when you spray it because the nozzle clogs up really quickly because it's a quick setting glue. So you have to keep washing it in warm water. So I prefer to either, you know, put a little bit in a bowl and apply it with a brush and wash my brush out quickly, or as I put it into this bottle here. But I'm going to show you. So you've already got some here which should make the adhesive bonds even stronger. But going along, and it is a very liquid glue, so I'm going to show you. I know where those bits are going to go because it's kind of left its shadow there, and I've got little drips, and those little drips do spread out. So I'm just capping this off because I don't want my needle tip nozzle to get clogged up. So I think really what my question is to everyone that's living in a humid state is, what are you using? Now, somebody did say, you know, clip it together, and I've got clips, but you can't clip it together because if you do, you're actually interfering with the shape of it. So that's supposed to be virtual instant contact, and you can slide it up and down a bit, but while you're doing that, that bit's blown apart. Do you see what I mean? And then that bit starts coming apart, and then you can get your finger inside and make sure your tabs are all squeezed down, and while you're doing that, it's come apart again, and then you can just keep pressing. But as soon as you try to do the top bit, let's try and get that up there, it's all going to blow apart on you. There it is, and it's dried. Do you know what I mean? There's a little bit damp there which might stick to that tab, but there is absolutely no way that you can do a project and go one tab at a time and hold it for half an hour and work your way up. You know, just the idea of that is it's just really silly, and then your hands can only get so far. So I've squeezed that into position, and now it's just come apart. So that's what I wanted to say, that I tried all kinds of different things with my humidity to do this, and I think one of the things that I'm going to try and stay away from is, you know, objects that have tension on them, because a shape like this, once you start putting the pieces in, do you know what I mean, it's got tension to hold its shape, and in my humidity I just can't do that. So I want to apologise, because there is absolutely nothing wrong with the die. It's a beautiful die, and if you go to KSCRAFT's page, you will see it's been made in some really lovely ways, you know, really pretty. I see somebody's used strawberries, and I love strawberries, but I really wanted to do a vintage travel one, and I'd even, you know, cut a little label to hang off the top of the hat, not to be placed in hat racks. But once again, I'm sorry, I tried my best. I used all sorts of glue, went out and purchased different sorts of glue, and it just wasn't working for me. And I know that it's not my cardstock, because I tried it on white cardstock and it was doing exactly the same thing. So once again, I am sorry. So that's what I've got for you today, the entail of my little humid disaster. But I am going to be up tomorrow, and tomorrow I am going to be up with another design team haul. So once again, I hope you had an absolutely awesome weekend, and as usual, all links below. Bye.